Hey and welcome. I'm your boy Solo. In this video, I'm going over how to set up and install OBS for the first time and adding OBS Live for more control and connectivity. This video is going to go over only the basics, so if you have used OBS a bit, bear with me. This was aimed for first time users. That being said, let's jump into it. Okay, the first thing that we're going to need to do is download OBS. So I'm just going to go over to the OBS website and download OBS. This is going to take a few minutes to download. This is great for recording, and for streaming, OBSlive is a great addition. So while I'm waiting for this to download, I'm going to jump over to streamelements.com, log in with my Twitch account, and download OBSlive plugin. If you don't plan to use OBSlive, skip this part. To get started, I'll just be going over OBS by itself and add the plugin after. So if you're not using OBS.live or don't plan to, you won't have to watch that part of the video. Find the OBS install that you just downloaded. It should be in your downloads folder, and double click it. Make sure it's the studio, OBS Studio. You have to install this before the plugin. Okay, I guess I have to close down streaming software. I'll be back in just a second. Okay, the installer will pop up and it'll ask you, it'll say welcome to OBS Studios 27.0.1, or depending on whatever version, if you're in the future, just click next. On the next window, it's going to be your user agreement, click next. And then it's going to ask you where to install it. Make sure it's in the place that you want it installed. Mine's just going to be the default program files. Click install. That should only take a second, and here we are. Okay, and we just hit the finish. It's going to come up. Yes, we want to allow it. Okay, first thing that's going to pop up is the auto configuration. This here is going to ask you a few simple things, like if you want to optimize for streaming and recording as secondary, optimize for recording. I will not be streaming, and I will only be using this for a virtual cam. So depending on what you're doing, and we're definitely going to go with the optimize for streaming and recording as secondary, as we'll be streaming as main priority. And I imagine most people watching this video are going to be streaming as a priority. Alright, we're just going to click the next. It's going to ask us some more questions. I'm going to leave the base canvas, the resolution of my monitor, and it's going to ask you some questions, whether it be 30 or 60. If you're streaming and you're just starting out, I would definitely change this down probably to 30 and test it to see how good your system will work. If your 2 PC setup or other things that you're using will make quite a bit of difference in this variation. I'm going to leave this one here just default. Okay, and it's going to ask you what you're going to use, your streaming service, and you can connect your account here. I'm going to do this. I'll just be back in a second. Okay, once you type in your information, it's going to come up here and ask you for if you want preferred hardware encoding. Now this will depend if you have an AMD or an NVIDIA GPU. I'm actually going to prefer hardware or software encoding. I want to use my CPU because I have a lot of processor cores and I don't have a very good GPU, so that's what I'm going to use. You may want to leave this on. If you have a newer NVIDIA card, you want to leave this here on and let your video card do the work. It'll be a lot easier on your computer. And it'll just do its thing. Just wait a few minutes and we'll go through the settings. Okay, once it's done, it's going to come out with some configurations recommended on what you have for hardware and software, and depending on what you have, I'm going to go through and change a lot of mine so that you can go through and set up yours customly however you want it. These here settings that it came out with the auto configuration, my video bitrate at 1000, my streaming on software, my recording on it's not set up very well for me, and I definitely don't want to be outputting in that quality at all, I don't think. But I'm just going to apply changes. It's going to come up with a few things here. Okay, we're just going to set those things here. That's what happens when you sign in. You'll get information in different panels that you can go through and add them from your view. Those are your docs. So those will be like your chat, your information, your stream information is all in there. So you can just add those, move them around. You can put these anywhere, any way you want. We're just going to leave them as they are for now. Okay, and like I said, the first thing that we're going to go through are the settings. What I do every single time that I install OBS is I go through these here settings. Okay, so what we're going to do in here is we're going to go down to output, and we're going to change this to advanced. We want it in advanced. We want to encode x264. That's what I need to encode in. You can change this to your NVIDIA Invenc new. That would be a good choice for anyone with like a good video card. We're going to leave the bitrate at 2500 for your first stream, or for your first stream. You wouldn't want to record at such a low bitrate, but for your first stream, you'd want to leave it at something low and slowly up it. So if you have a good first stream and it's nice and smooth, then up it a little bit and see how it goes. If it's not smooth, you'll know that 2500 bitrate is probably going to be your limit depending on your internet. I'm going to set my keyframes to 2, as that's the one that suggests it. For my first stream, I'm going to leave this on very fast. I know I can set this to fast or faster, but I don't want to overuse the PC depending on what game I'm going to play. And I'm going to change this profile to main, and I'm going to click apply. Okay, I'm going to go over to the audio tab, and I'm going to change my audio to audio bitrate of 192. So that my sound is going to be fairly good coming out of my stream. I find that's way more important than actually your video quality. If your sound is bad and someone can't listen, they're not going to stay in your stream for very long. If you're easy to listen to and things sound great, people will leave you on the background because it's not hard on their ears. So keep that in mind. Make sure that your sound or your audio is about 192 for your audio bitrate. I find that a great quality. You can put it up higher, but then you have to sacrifice, depending on your internet, might be your bitrate. Okay, and we're going to go through here and we're audio, and we're going to set everything up. My mic is already good. I see it here moving. So everything is working there. If it doesn't, you can set these here up by clicking the cogs beside them. Alright, now here in the video, I'm going to change a couple of things. If you're streaming, you'll want to leave this here at your base canvas and change this to a 720p. So we want to go down here to 1280 by 720. That's a very good common ground to start at, especially for 2500 bitrate. You'll want a lot more bitrate before you'll be able to make 1920 by 1080 actually look good. And here you can change it to 60 or 30. I'm going to change mine to 60, and I'm going to leave this here for down sampling at 16 samples. So when it scales, it's not too blurry. Double check everything, make sure it's all good. Click the apply. And there you go. Those are all the basic settings for OBS. You can click either record or go live at this here point. We can add a couple of scenes. We can do anything. We can add a couple of things. I'll do that after I add the next OBS.live. That's everything there is for setting up OBS for your first stream. These here are very low basic settings just to get you started, and what you should be doing when you stream is just setting them up a little bit at a time to see where you're getting your cap for your internet and where you have problems with your stream, and then bring it back down to where you find it's good but you're not having any problems. It's better to have a smoother stream than it is to have a better looking stream, because it could be really good looking and choppy and people are going to leave because they see loading bars. But if it's smooth and sounds good, people are going to stick around. So keep that in mind when you're setting up your OBS. Now what we're going to do is we're going to run through adding the plugin. So what we're going to do is just close OBS and double click on the Stream Elements OBS.live plugin, and we're going to add it. It adds a couple features that I actually enjoy quite a bit for streaming, and it allows you to have some of the updates that happen in your chat and a few of the updates that happen your activity. I don't even know what it's called this time. I'm having a brain fart. Just give me a minute. Alright, after it's done its install, we're just going to click the next button. We're going to agree to the terms and services, click next again, and install it. Alright, after it's done installing, we're just going to click the finish. We're going to create the desktop shortcut, and we're going to launch it right away. Alright, now this here is going to have a couple of different options. First thing that we're going to do is we're going to connect our Twitch account, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, and once you've done that there, it's going to load up like this. You're going to have your chat. I have the stats here for some reason. I'm not quite sure. And my chat is white for some reason. That's different. You can change that, I think, in here and turn on your icons. First thing you want to do when you do this, I forgot to say when you install OBS, you need to open up the cog here for your settings and make sure you turn your mod icons on. It makes it easier for you to moderate your own chat when you first get started. Another added feature is the activity feed down here. You can make this here quite a bit bigger and quite a bit smaller as well, but this will give you all of the latest things on your activity feed through Twitch. So I find this here plugin quite an awesome upgrade and added addition to OBS. It gives you a few extra things that Twitch adds to the pile. And another thing, to get started, what we're going to do, once you have the scene, you can go over here and click the plus, depending on what you have. If you have a capture device, you can click here in your video capture device, add it, and find it. I don't have one, so that's not going to work for me. I'm going to click delete that one there. And I'm going to add my desktop. So I'll do display capture, click OK, and there we go. We'll see an infinite of my other recording page that I don't want anyone. There, an infinite recording page. But that's all you really need to know. All you have to do after this here point is just change your system information over here to make sure that you update your feed every single time before you go live. You can remove the stats. I like the stats here because it tells you a lot more where you might be lagging, where your render's coming from, frames if you miss them. I do find this here readout a lot better than Streamlabs OBS. So keep that in mind. I do find this here program fairly good to use. But that's everything there is to it. Just keep in mind that play with your bitrate a little bit, adjust it up and down, find out where it's good for you. Everyone has different internet. My internet's not very good, so I use 2500. I start from there and I go up until I find my cap. And just keep in mind that at 720p at the bitrate that Twitch actually allows you to upload, 1920 by 1080 does look like 720p at that quality. It doesn't give you enough quality to make that look good on fast motion games, so keep that in mind. Your stream will look a lot better smooth than it will look if it's too high quality but too fast motion, that it won't look very good. That being said, if you think I may have forgot or left something out, definitely leave something in the comments below. But if you like or found this video helpful, hit the thumbs up and get subscribed for more content. Thanks for watching, guys.